Hey, what's up, boys? This is Moonchild of Dude No Way. Stasis is here, and today we're covering a Warlock build that freezes the shit out of everything. I just wanted to quickly remind you guys that we stream every Monday and Tuesday night from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time over on Twitch, so you should come hang out with us there. Tuesday, we started the Beyond Light campaign, and we're going to finish it off this Monday evening, and I am super pumped to dive into more of this expansion live with you guys, so I hope to see you in chat. So obviously, we're running Shadebinder, and our abilities we're rolling with are the Healing Rift, Burst Glide, the standard Penumbral Blast melee, and the Cold Snap Grenade. Penumbral Blast fires a single stasis ball from your staff, which freezes any targets it makes contact with, which on its own is very strong. The reason we're using Cold Snap over the others is because when you throw it, it instantly freezes someone, and then sends a Seeking Ice line out that will freeze someone else if they get hit by it. And this thing is insane. It travels up the walls to track targets who are nearby, and I'll show that to you later on in the video. This grenade is one of the main focal points of the build, but the piece of the subclass that puts the most work in is the aspect, Iceflare bolts. This aspect is disgustingly good in PvP. When we shatter a frozen target, it does the same thing that the grenade does. It shoots a target-seeking ice line out that will straight up freeze anyone it comes in contact with. And this happens every time we shatter a target. It doesn't even have to be you who froze them. You can shatter anyone's frozen target and the aspect will proc and try to freeze someone else. The things you can do with it are actually nuts, and I'm going to show it off in full effect in the clips to come. Our exotic weapon today is going to be the Monte Carlo, because every kill with this auto rifle has a chance to fully recharge our melee, which means every time we proc Monte Carlo and get our melee back, we can go on freezing another target. That effect doubles down when we combine it with our exotic armor piece, the Claws of Ahamkara, which give us a second melee charge. Having double the chances to freeze a target is nasty on its own, but whenever we get a kill with Monte and it procs the exotic perk, we're gonna get both our melee charges back. These two things combined make for a very strong combination that can freeze an enemy at the start of pretty much any engagement. You'll almost always have a way to do it. There will be many opportunities for you to ice them up, and then shatter them to proc the aspect, sending seeking waves of ice to catch the enemy team in a chain freeze that it's very hard to get out of. Our secondary today is Fellwinter's Lie, because it's consistent and it has quick draw. Any aggressive frame shotgun will be fine here, though I do recommend if you get one, try to get it with quick draw, as it really helps in scenarios when you need to quickly swap. After playing with it for a while and going back to one that doesn't have the perk, it feels bad to pull out the shotgun. It feels heavy, like a weapon from Battlefield. Other shotgun frames will probably notice this problem less. The heavy we're rocking today is Behringer's Memory, and the reason we have this on is specifically for Demolitionist. Demolitionist gives a portion of our grenade energy back each time we get a kill, so anytime I pick up heavy, I know I'll be able to use it to recharge my grenade faster. Its other perk, Proximity Detonation, makes the rounds from this weapon blow up as they reach targets, which can help damage targets even if they move away from where we fired the weapon at originally. Our stat split today is focused on having a high recovery and strength, with a bit of intellect mixed in if we can. The reason we want a high strength is because on the times when Monte Carlo's exotic perk doesn't proc, we want to be able to have a melee charge up before like a minute and a half has passed. It's a brutal wait at low strength recharge times. And I put the rest in recovery and intellect because having high recovery is going to give us our rift back more often, which when combined with some of our armor perks will grant us additional melee energy every time we use the healing rift. Intellect gets a minor focus because we want to be one of the first supers on the board. The faster we use it, the more people we can shatter, the faster we can pick up the orbs our teammates drop to get back another super. Going over our armor mods, I'll show them all, but I only briefly want to touch on a few. Fastball on the gloves is a must in my opinion. Don't sleep on it. This perk allows you to throw grenades in ways that can't be done without it. You can reach places with grenades from behind cover that you would otherwise have to back up into line of sight to hit. I highly recommend you put it on, get used to how it feels, and keep it forever. I also wanted to talk about Bolstering Detonation, which says it gives you class ability energy when damaging a combatant with your grenade, and I haven't gotten to test this yet, and I don't know if it works in PvP or not. Are we combatants? Isn't everyone in the entire game that's not friendly a combatant? You'd think it would work. I haven't gotten to test it yet. Radiant Light is another one, and when we slot this perk and another arc perk into a piece of armor, it gives us an additional 20 strength. This is why the chest piece that normally has 8 strength instead has 38. Stats are good, boys. And these charged with light mods have a few that give insane bonuses like this. We're using Taking Charge, which makes you charged with light when you pick up an orb, combined with high energy fire on our boots for extra damage to our weapons, and on our bond, we have Outreach and Distribution. With these together, we can use our Rift to give us a nice chunk of melee energy back with Outreach, and as soon as our Rift goes on cooldown, it also gets a good bit of ability energy back because of Distribution. All of these things, the exotic weapon, the Claws of Ahamkara, the grenade, the aspect, the mods, all of them, combine to give you more uptime on your stasis abilities. You can really be a pain in the ass with this build, especially if your enemies stand too close together. You'll be freezing up a storm all game long. It's very fun and very, very strong in the Crucible. I feel like I'm going to get shit if I don't talk about this, so I want to quickly go over why, in a build all about freezing the enemy, I decided not to use the new exotic grenade launcher Salvation's Grip, whose sole purpose in the game is to freeze things. The reason for that is simple. Heavy comes up a few times a game and you may get it, you may not. You may get a triple kill, or you might waste your ammo because Guardians in PvP are too damn fast. And then what? Then you go back to regular, basic bitch play in the game because your exotic is only active for 30 whole seconds in any given match. It's far better to equip something that buffs our neutral game, especially with something as powerful as Monte Carlo's exotic perk, giving us both our melee charges back. The amount of times you'll get to freeze someone with Salvation's Grip compared to the number of times Monte Carlo will give you your melees back makes this a no contest win in my opinion. You'll shatter way more people using a neutral game exotic. And that's not to say Salvation's Grip is bad, it just doesn't have a place in a build about constant freeze uptime. If there were any other exotic weapon I'd pair this build with, it would 100% of the time go to the real ability engine, the myth, the legend, Traveler's Chosen. Because getting a kill with that gives you a full 33% of all of your abilities back, all at the same time. But Traveler's Chosen makes you fight in an uncomfortable range, in my opinion. At least for me. It feels too close. You're within one hit kill range of a shotgun if you have any damage on you at all. Big yikes. And unless I pair it with another primary or a sniper, I feel like I can't adequately challenge at ranges I definitely should be able to. Monte feels better. This clip pretty much shows exactly what this build is, and I'm going to slow it down and replay it so that we can appreciate all of the moving parts working together at the same time. But as I play this in full speed, I want you to take notice to the fact that every single target I'm fighting gets frozen at some point, which is the whole point of what we're doing today. As I approach, the enemy has taken the B flag, and I know that there are a few people there. I slide into the fight, but as I get shot, I play my angles and backpedal into cover. I use Game Sense to predict when this target will come back into view and fire my Penumbral Blast melee at him, freezing him solid. As I shatter him, the aspect from our subclass goes to work, sending out a Seeking Ice Wave to freeze another target because I shattered the first. I can see as the wall appears that I've frozen another enemy, so I position myself in a way that I can shoot him, blow up this portion of the wall, and shatter the second target. There's no one nearby for the aspect to freeze, but I know there's a target waiting on B, probably with a shotgun, and as I jump up, I can see his legs and cloak, so I fire my melee at him, and it's good game for this dude too. As another target approaches, I still have a grenade available to try to freeze him, and that's possible because of all of the moving parts this build has to offer. The aspect took over and froze the second target on its own, so I didn't have to use any abilities. The exotic armor allowed me to have a melee available to hit the guy on B because the second charge was refilling in the background. If you play this setup right, this is what the bulk of your gameplay will look like. In this next one, once again, I'm approaching B, and when I can't kill the target in time with Monte Carlo, I throw my grenade to try to freeze him. Pay attention to the ice line on the ground, that's the Cold Snap grenade intelligently seeking a second target. When I freeze the first guy, I know I won't have enough time to engage him before he can break free, but the travel time of the ice on the ground means I will be able to engage the second target without fear. I shatter him with Fellwinter, and then 180 on the original target. Knowing how much health it takes to break free from a freeze, I know that I can easily and quickly one-bang him with my shotgun and then go on about my life. When fighting other Guardians in their super, it's extremely important you remember that they will not stay frozen for long, and they will come out of the freeze still in super. So if you aren't quick to capitalize on catching them slipping, you're gonna wind up getting one shot and being real sad about it. As they approach you, you either throw the grenade or hit them with Penumbral Blast, and then slide by and immediately follow up with a shotgun melee to put them down. It helps if they have a bit of damage on them first, because sometimes with high armor supers, that won't quite be enough to kill them. This is the reason we slide by, because it'll take them a second to reposition on us after they're free of the ice, which ideally is the time we need to put one more shotgun blast in and seal the deal. Next, I wanted to talk about our super, and while it's incredibly potent, it's also very, very slow to move around the battlefield with. It feels a little bit like Bottom Tree Stormcaller, but with more lethality. The way you want to play this super is to first of all, make sure you only pop it behind cover. The animation is long, and you will die if you try to super in line of sight with your enemy. The light attack fires 3 stasis orbs from your staff that freeze anything they hit, and the heavy attack detonates anything frozen that's close to you. When using the light attack, you have to be very, very accurate with where you send your volley. In the clip on screen, I shoot just over the target's shoulder, and unlike a lot of supers in the game, this one doesn't seem to have any forgiveness in terms of accuracy. The volley isn't going to change directions to hit a guy it's flying past, so be careful where you shoot. Something I wanted to highlight here is the aspect from our subclass activating every time we shatter someone. This Titan throws up a barricade, but because I shattered his buddy, the line of ice travels across the floor, under his barricade, and gets him anyway. Knowing and being cognizant of these things happening in real time is going to be the difference between winning and losing a lot of fights. You need to understand the tools you have at your disposal and make the best use of them in any given moment. This Titan barricade was a great example of that. The final bit I wanted to touch on for this super is something I didn't find out until the tail end of my play session for this video, but the heavy attack that detonates frozen targets has some of the most insane range of any ability I've ever seen. In this clip, I intend to attack the people on B, but am instead engaged by 2 targets on my right. I fly high into the air, breaking line of sight with both the guy on B and the target who was in front of me. And pay attention to how far away I am when I use the detonation. This target explodes from a good 20 plus meters away. It was in this moment I realized you can actually kill people far, far further out than I had originally thought. In my mind, this detonation was the size of like a Nova Warp heavy attack, and so all through my play session I was using it in that Nova Warp range. But you don't have to, dudes. It seems like it has travel time as it pulses out around you, but if you give it a second, this super will detonate guys who are far as hell away from you. And I'll definitely be using that to my advantage as I play more with this and we unlock new fragments and aspects every week. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to leave a like. It helps me grow and it tells YouTube that, hey, you know what, this guy actually makes stuff people want to watch. I want to quickly remind you that we stream Mondays and Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern time, so come get your Beyond Light fix with us and watch me run these builds live, and thank you guys very much for watching. I am Moonchild of DudeNoWay, and I will see you in the next video.